He's middle management of men, Wesley Fox. A tamer of building codes and fires, Alan Giannis. And he delivers for America, Andrew Murr. Together, they are the Middle Class Holes.
So, you know how ladies all want equality?
Oh, there we go. There's a singer. All right, down in.
I'm always watching TV and finding the things that we're still allowed to, like, mock people for. Like, baldness is still, like, right there, front and center. Like, hymns is on, like, every 5 seconds on...
Fucking hilarious.
Right? Like, you're not allowed to mock people for certain attributes of their body. But, man, when it comes to balding, it's still $1 billion business. So let's not put that one on the shelf just yet. But life insurance really still seems to be focused primarily on the male population. I can't remember. I think it's like Liberty Mutual. I don't know. I could be making that up. But it starts with the wife yelling at the husband from the table, and she's like, "Did you order life insurance?" He's like, "Ugh, I'm looking for a better deal." "Well, what are we gonna do if something happens?" Let me ask you this: why isn't something happening to you? Why isn't it a priority of you to go find the life insurance policy? Is it just the man that gets the life insurance policy? Is there a dual policy insurance kind of thing that happens? So if one of you dies, or is it always just when he kicks the bucket that the life insurance policy kicks in? And by the way, if we're living in this equal fucking separate but equal lifestyle or whatever the fuck it is, why the fuck am I going to spend my hard-earned money to make sure you have a sustainable life with your new husband when I'm fucking dead and under the dirt? Fuck that shit. I don't ever see a life insurance commercial where it's like the husband saying, "Honey, what happens if you're not here to me and the kids?" Never happens. Never seen it. Never gonna.
I don't know. Do widowers grieve? I don't know. It seemed like for a little bit, it's kind of a party. I'm not just kidding. Joking. I think this is a little bit of a hangover to a late 90s, maybe even earlier that, into the mid-2000s sitcom era where the male lead of, with a wife and family was always just some buffoon who just happened to walk his way into a good life, a good paying job, a wife that he way outkicked his coverage, couple semi-adjusted kids, a nice house in the suburbs. This idiot just happened to stumble upon it, and he's going to die early. He needs life insurance. He doesn't even know what it is.
I mean, it's not comedy, but I'll give you one guess as to why it's marketed to men.
Because men die earlier than women on
You
average.
fucking got it. This is capitalism, baby. They don't give a shit about your feelings as much as you think they give a shit about your feelings, Murr. They care about fucking marketing and making money. If you, who will probably die before your fucking wife, statistically proven, gets the life insurance that they market to you, that's how they make money.
I know, but my point is, and I'm trying to wake men up to this. Like, don't buy fucking life insurance. I mean, don't. Why would you? Well, again,
well, you can buy. You can get life insurance for each of you, right? Like, that's a thing.
Like a couple.
Like we have it.
A package.
Yeah, but see, listen. Here's the thing, though, and again, this comes back to the whole like we are not the same, ladies. Just telling you, like. Wes is joking when he says, "Do widowers grieve?" Like, we're gonna pick up the pieces and we're gonna move on because that's what we do. Like, we're not looking like your significant other kicks the bucket. You're not going to an attorney and be like, "Well, how am I gonna get by now?" No, you're gonna get by drinking heavily and watching like old clips of baseball games on fucking Masson. That's how you're going to get by. You're not going to be worrying about some fucking, $1,000 check every month because your wife is fucking dead. Because I don't know.
That's why they don't market it to them. They market it to you, dummy. Again, you're reinforcing my point.
And I guess what I get at, yes, you are. But I guess my point is like, stop buying life insurance.
That's fair.
If we can rally and overcome beyond some catastrophic event that happens to our significant other, then so can they. I should not be worrying my pretty little head right now with an extra weekend golf package every fucking year with people I don't even play golf with to like make sure that she's settled when I'm not here to reap the benefits of the insurance package that I sacrificed my fucking hard-earned hours for.
Yeah. Well,
Die.
I mean, and I guess you got to also keep in mind that, like, I mean, this might be hard to hear, but we live in a very patriarchal society over here in the United States, and in a day gone by, a time when maybe a man like yourself would consider it great here in America, fucking women were just property. They weren't working. They weren't working. They were at home tending to the children's, cooking food for you, fucking ignoring you cheating with your secretary, fucking, the good old days. And during those times, they marketed life insurance to people and started marketing life insurance. They were like, well, let's give it to these guys who are going to pay us. And then these useless ladies who've got fucking grade school educations and fucking worn out uteruses, they get a little nest egg. They get a little nest egg for themselves. Yeah, that's where it comes from.
and you're reinforcing my point, Alan, because back then that was keep my secrets in the afterlife money. That's what that was. Tell good stories about me. Don't tell about that hussy at work that I was banging for the last 15 years. Because why? I put a little bit of money aside every month for you to remember me for the good parts that were very few, but you're going to magnify them because that check you're getting every month
also true. Okay,
giantly magnified. You're going to be able to die sitting in a rocking chair with your kids visiting you while I grow worms out my eye sockets.
Yeah, healthy fucking family values.
That's right. There it is. Like that. America. I have wondered, and maybe I just I get the baseline premises of life insurance, but how do the insurance companies make money off of life insurance? It seems like my mom got a life insurance policy. I don't think it was, buku bucks, but she is, she's not financially stable solely because of that. She's financially stable because she worked for the United States government for 35 years and busted her ass and tucked away a lot of money like a responsible person should. But this helped. I sometimes I wonder, I get car insurance, I get homeowners insurance and some of the other ones. Life insurance policy to me is a little foggy in terms of how do they make money. They're not, this isn't this isn't charity on their behalf.
No.
Because they make money on other insurance policies.
I'm pretty sure that the amount of money that they earn in interest based on your payments for an exorbitant amount of time, like if I started now and let's say I got 30 years left in me, right? I'm going to be paying for 30 years, or I'm going to die now and she's not going to get dick because it's a tiny little, guess what? You get $40 a month. But if I pay that over like 30 years and I kick the bucket, they're like, all right, you can have half of what he gave us.
Okay.
And they've already invested like all of it into a stock market that continues to climb.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
It's taking a lump sum of money over decades and investing it behind the curtain.
Yeah. Okay. That's what all insurance is doing. But this one's
Yeah. Thank you for making it less foggy.
And you'd be shocked how many people like buy life insurance because they were marketed to, old guys, right? And fucking they got divorced. They never fucking updated that next of kin. They got no beneficiaries, like fucking kid, you know what I mean? And then, insurance companies like, hey, we got your money into the wind. And they're like, oh, I guess we get to keep it now. And fucking boom. Tons of those.
Yeah, Mr. Wilson, he's holding the clipboard like, you're what we like to call a lemon. You know what that means? Huh?
Exactly.
That's Sarah actually had a good, my wife now of just a shade under 3 months, a couple of years ago had mentioned something to me about I have to live longer than she does. It almost made me promise it to her. I was like, well, I'll give it my best shot. I'll give it a whirl. I was thinking about just living this train wreck, till the end of time, till I was no longer breathing. Now you really got me wanting to eat celery and greens and things like that.
I want to die first. What are you talking about? Because who has to be responsible when you die? Not you. You got to take care of shit. I got to plan a funeral? Ain't fucking doing that. Sorry, honey.
Yeah.
If she goes first, things are in shambles real quick. I'm not saying they're going to be any better with me out of the picture. I'm just saying I ain't got to worry about it. That's a lot of stress.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Actually, and I don't want to say this is like disparaging to my grandfather and my namesake, but after my grandmother passed away first, then the following summer, all 5 grandchildren, my mom, my dad, her sister, and my uncle, my aunt's husband, we were all there helping clean, kind of tidy up the house, do a little vetting, a little inventory, and there were certain things like we were all responsible for certain things, certain areas of the house, and I think I stumbled across 6 vacuum cleaners. All right, and some of them were really dated. I was like, God damn, this is so inoperable. It's probably valuable. You know what I mean? That you plug this puppy in, and that airbag whoop, filled up way beyond its capacity. And what my point is, things like this were popping up all over the house, and my grandfather just didn't do anything and kind of let it just didn't clean up for the next 7 or 8 months. And my dad said, he was like, I hate to say this to you, Diane, but I just think that all your dad had to be responsible for was being a good eye doctor. That's all he had to do. Mm-hmm. He only had to be a good eye doctor. He didn't have to do any. He was a father. He raised you all well. But my mom was like, yeah, you're right. You're right. And when you just said that, it kind of plucked a little heartstring or struck a nerve. I don't know which one. Maybe both.
Look, Milwaukee's best, Orioles classic.
Mm-hmm.
Half a pension, Social Security, and there you go. A fucking good butt groove and a fucking couch, and that's the end of days for me. If I make it, if I'm the last man standing, that's how it's gonna go. Maybe I'll strike up some Pall Malls for no reason.
Paw Malls.
Virginia Slims all the way, buddy.
VA Slims, yeah. Ooh. This is when I was working at Anne Arundel, we had to go down to Annapolis proper, right downtown. It was basically interview a person on the street. The idea was to ask them, we asked them before the cameras were rolling. We didn't bombard them out of the blue. They agreed, but said we're not going to tell you what the question is because we need to kind of. The idea is that some people don't understand what this is, and the question was, do you know what an advanced directive is? If so, do you have one? And it was we weren't interviewing 20 and 30-year-olds. These were middle-aged people and up, and you would be surprised. It was about 50-50. I didn't know, and Murr, I didn't know what it was.
I'm going to guess. I'm going to say an advanced directive is. This is what happens if I'm dying or I'm dead. Like, these are the next actions I would like you to take.
Yes.
Like a will, but like a will of like, pull the plug, don't pull the plug. I'm not a vegetable. Like, I want to go. Like, that kind of shit.
That, and I think it also goes beyond that. Like, the subsequent week and maybe month or months afterwards about my financials, who gets what. It detail that people don't have to sort this out for you while you're dead through litigation, lawyers, and like he told me this once. No, it's in paper. It's been stamped by my lawyer, and it's good to go. It's all set. But again, I was in my 20s, so I learned something by interviewing these people. But there was there's people in their 50s. They're like, yeah. I don't know what that is. So I found that to be relatively interesting.
Well, next time we talk to our legal counsel, I do have a question about that. Like, if I handwrite something on, like, I don't know, a legal pad, and just like, the ramblings of a crazy man, like, I would like Wesley Fox to have all of my computer recording equipment should that day come. Like, is that legally binding if it's like the last thing in my handwriting that says what I want done with something?
That's a good point. Maybe if it's only audio recorded is.
No, I think it is. If it could be verified as like valid, your handwriting and signature, and like
Andrew wrote this,
and like Wes was like, "Fuck you, Maria! I'm suing you. I'm getting his audio equipment." Like a dickhead. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like he really got into it. That I think actually he might have a leg to stand on. And that's also barring like people make, this is another thing, like, and I think legal counsel could probably speak to this, but like people make wills and forget about them and then make new wills and shit. With like different lawyers. And then you've got fucking issues. But I'm fairly certain like dates supersede So like if you wrote that like now, but you know, you put in your will, everything goes to my wife, the will would supersede your handwritten note that Wes gets your microphones.
I wonder if like if you remarry and like you did just handwrite something, if you went back and just like X'd out Tiffany, Maria.
Yeah.
Just...
See, Your Honor, I'd like to introduce this as evidence. This is Murr in his Colonel Sanders audio recording voice that says, "I get all of his audio equipment." Now, Your Honor, Wesley is to receive all of my audio recording equipment. That might actually be the fastest, most easiest, streamlined court case in the history of court cases. I think Maria would be like, "Fine, take it. I don't fucking want it.
What am I gonna do with it?"
I now officially don't want it.
Yeah, that's right.
I couldn't get her to. I could give her. I could dangle $1,000 like over her head and be like, "Plug it all in," and I'd still be $1,000 up.
Middle class holes, everyone. Foxman, Alan, and Murr. Thank you for that. I'll have to now. Now, you're weirdly going to plant the seed for me to pay attention to life insurance policy.
But not just that, like
around.
anything of that nature, gold, medical products, things like that. Just look. We've been getting bombarded with all this stuff. Women are just like men. It's like, no, you're not. If you were, they would be selling this shit to you too, and they're not. So there's something different about us. So
except you're getting astronauts who need space landing fees.
Do they only market gold to men?
Dude, well, William Devane, listen to how he talks. He ain't talking to the ladies. He ain't talking to them. I'm just saying. And by the way, that's okay. It's fine. It is okay to market things appropriately towards a demographic that you're going for. That's A-okay. It's fine. I'm not saying it's a problem. I'm just saying it seems like it's only a problem when you're jealous, I think. Does that make sense? When one side is jealous of another side, like, well, how come they do that for you? It's like, how come they don't do that to you? How come they don't guilt trip you into fucking spending, I don't know, 10% of your salary on something that you'll never see? It doesn't benefit you. Why don't they do that to you? It's always me. And I'm the guilty one. I have to walk around like, well, if I die, they're going to be up the creek, aren't they? You better do something. Dangling my own death like I'm not already worried about it, motherfuckers.
Now, Alan, you made a good point about this. That you and Kelly have a joint plan. Should the paradigm shift be towards that? I mean, was that a hard process? Was that basically just signing paperwork?
No, it was just signing paperwork. You could do it through your work, probably. Honestly, it's usually optional, and it's like pennies usually through work. Like if you do it independently, it's like a couple bucks, which is not much either. But like, why not spend like $1.33 for like $500,000 of life insurance, and then that way, if I die, fuck it, pay off all these bills, girl, or don't, fuck it, I don't care, do whatever fuck you want with it. I would too. I'm gonna be, I'm gonna be ignorant with this shit for like 6 months.
Oh, yeah. Take that $500,000 and get 500 million pennies and build a vault and dive into it like Scrooge McDuck. God damn it. Mm-hmm. Play the goddamn DuckTales theme. Why you do
better? Throw pennies at kids on bikes. I mean, you'll never. It's like infinite pennies right there.
They'd have to start minting new pennies, I think, at that point. Like, I don't even think there's that many pennies in circulation.
I think we're done minting pennies, aren't we? Wasn't that?
I think so.
Yeah, that's like one of the. You know what? By the way, they very seldom give Trump credit for anything. Chalk that one up. We're done with the penny. Fuck that copper piece of shit.
This is the cost to make one is it costs more to make one.
Yeah, I mean that's fair.
It's
like literally I throw away coins.
When I used to clean out my car, if it was a nickel or penny, it was pretty much
basically
animals. I save all mine.
Like I save quarters and shit like that. But like here's the thing, dimes mathematically I want to save, but the physical representation of them makes me throw them away. I'm like, it's too small. It's smaller than a penny. What am I doing with this? Get it away. And then I just throw that away. So yeah, nickels, dimes, pennies, trash.
Yeah,
they kind of did.
That's garbage money.
They kind of did Dwight D. little dirty there, didn't they? Give him the smallest measurement of
and like it's like if we're at a store, well, this never happens, but when it used to happen, like I'd be like, Kelly, here, take this, like, and just dump it in her hand and be like, I don't want that. Here. You do whatever the fuck you want with it. You can throw it away too if you want. I don't give a shit. She used to have like a jug, but I think she also was like, fuck this.
By the way, that was one of the few things that ever made me feel like a baller in life because I believe me, I held off on using my card to pay for everything till like it was just way too inconvenient to pull cash out. And so when I was still doing it, I would always be like, keep the change.
There you go. Yeah. Also, like, I can't stand if you pull coins out, like, to pay. Like, oh, you motherfucker. And you got to count. There's at least a penny or two. Nothing's round. Nothing's round. You know
I remember, like, when a kid, and this was all the way up until, like, high school, when people would be at the grocery store, and all of a sudden, break out the checkbook.
Oh, God.
You writing a check? That means that this store, this establishment, has your ID on file. That means they have a blank check somewhere in a vault here in case you fucking bounce this motherfucker. Are you shitting me right now?
Yeah. Yeah, man.
I get annoyed when I see people at Coinstar.
Why?
Well, maybe not annoyed. It just because it's like almost 9 cents to the dollar that they're taking.
That's true.
It's robbery.
Banks have wised up to that. Now banks have those things in them, and it's one for one. They don't charge you anything.
You just get a voucher and then
and walk up to the register because they don't want you walking in with like, here you go. Verify that I have $500 in nickels and dimes here.
2 big burlap sacks with the dollar symbol across the front of it. Yeah, gotcha. I stole this from the Joker, literally. Pun intended. R.I.P. Val Kilmer. Hey, guys, April Fool's was a few days ago. I don't know if you guys played any April Fool's jokes. I didn't. I usually, it usually comes to April 2nd. I'm like, dang, too late. I realized that when I was watching PTI, the first segment they did was banning these, what the hell's the new baseball bat? The
torpedo.
Torpedo bat. And it was an April Fool's joke. And I fucking I told Murr about this. I was cracking up because at the end of the bit, Wilbon was saying, "You dopes, you idiots." I was, look at that. Look at these guys. But I didn't realize the origins date back to 1564 when King Charles moved New Year's celebration from its week-long observance beginning March 25th to a celebration in January 1st. According to the Library of Congress, those who forgot or were never told about the change were mocked. So that what the Library of Congress marks as the first April Fool's joke. There's a few others.
Well, I mean, it sounds like less. It sounds like the jokes came afterwards, but like the April Fools were the fools who were fooled by the shift in time, and then it sounds like something like sprung up from that notion.
Okay, yeah. 1561, when a Flemish writer, Edouard de Denay, wrote in his poem about a nobleman sending his servant on a pointless task. According to the Library of Congress, the servant soon realized that he has been, quote, sent on a fool's errand because it's April 1st, as the library states. So I know 6 centuries ago, these idiots were still getting fooled. Here were a few that the Associated Press, a few noted ones that celebrities pulled. In 2021, then First Lady Jill Biden pretended to be a flight attendant on an airplane traveling from California to Washington. She wore a Jasmine name tag and passed out Dove ice cream bars while wearing a black mask, black pantsuits, and a wig. A few minutes later, Jasmine reemerged without the wig, revealing herself to be Jill Biden, laughing and proclaiming April Fools. Ugh.
Okay.
All right. Google co-founders Larry Page and Sergey Brin became known for announcing outlandish ideas every April Fool's. Soon after starting the company more than a quarter century ago, 1 year Google posted a job opening for Copernicus Research Center on the moon. Another year, the company said it had planned to roll out a scratch and sniff feature on its search engine. That's pretty fucking sharp.
Yeah, I gotta tell you though, when somebody that owns Google tells me there's gonna be like a research laboratory on the moon. Crazy enough, like I'm like, ooh, I'm down. I'm
what,
cool.
what are they paying? Was this
Yeah, right?
hazard pay?
Like how
What are the
wealthy
qualifications?
how wealthy does a company have to be that you can fool your employees with a moon base?
Yeah, yeah. Or anybody, you know? It could be like, hey, well, we're taking bums off the streets of New York, $60,000 and hazard pay and per diem and travel.
Well, I got to tell you, when I was looking for news stories for the show, like I kind of freaked out for a minute. Like, oh no, what day was this story written? Because I went back in time, and I was very concerned that I sent like all April Fool's like news headlines, like, oh shit, I fucked up. Because the best one that's gotten me, and I haven't been gotten in quite some time, because I'm usually pretty aware of what the date is and like just careful with the bullshit, especially like on Twitter and Facebook and places like that. But the one that got me, it was probably like 15 years ago now. I think it's before YouTube sold to Google, but it was 10 years. It was the 10-year anniversary of YouTube, and they put out this amazing video just saying like, yeah, you know, it's been an amazing 10 years. We didn't expect YouTube to get to this point, and that's why we're giving everybody the next 24 hours to save all their videos and files, because we're wiping our servers to make room for the brand new era of YouTube. They sold it. Like I was like, oh no, because I was working at the radio station at the time. Like, all this hard work I've done, I don't have anywhere to save all this. I don't even know how to pull files off of YouTube. Oh,
They
shit.
didn't have a They didn't have a Google Drive then.
No, and I was freaking the fuck out. And finally, the next day, they're like, haha, gotcha. Yes, you fucking did. You actually damn near made me upset that I didn't have a life insurance policy.
Yeah, I had to go out and buy this 250 megabyte scratch disc. You asshole! It was $87. This is a good one. 1992 NPR's show Talk of the Nation program announced that former President Richard Nixon, who resigned in 1974, would be running for president, according to the Museum of Hoaxes. A comedian who impersonated Nixon would say, "I never did anything wrong, and I won't do it again."
That's a good line.
Yeah,
Like it.
I get a kick out of that, just because I always think of not Jackie Martley. Is Fred from the Howard Stern show?
Yeah,
He has a really good Nixon impersonation. And if you I wrote Big Cock because that's what I have, a big cock.
well, they call me
outside of
Dick
the
and Dick.
That's right. Blank a doodle do. Outside of the U.S., one of the most notable pranks involved the BBC World Service in 1980 declaring that Big Ben would become a digital clock and renamed Digital Dave.
That's pretty
That's
good.
fucking funny.
I'm sure these English blokes just went nuts. What?
They don't get animated. Like, why? I don't like it one bit. Oh, what happened to tradition? Big Ben's been around for 200 years. I scoff at digital Dan, but I'll embrace him if he comes.
I don't remember, obviously in 1980, I don't remember digital clocks. I don't remember digital clocks all that well until like the late 80s, early 90s. I can't imagine 1980 technology being super sharp.
Well, I mean, I could imagine, though, if, you know, at the time, digital things were a brand new thing. It'd be like, wow, this is the wave of the future. Wave of the future. Let's update. I mean, I could see people falling for it maybe if it was that. 'Cause, I mean, I remember, the thing I remember most about my childhood was my dad's fucking alarm clock. And it was the one where it had like the little slats where, like, I guess every 60 seconds, those little teeth would get high enough to where like the next one would flop over. Yeah, like that was the clock that everybody had until everybody had the brown wood grain digital clock with the red fucking numbers.
Yeah. I always think of Groundhog Day when I think of that clock. When it flips to 6 and Sonny and Cher comes on, he pops up. Ugh. Again. So there you have it. There's just some of the most notable April Fool's jokes, at least according to AP News. Send us some of yours in, or some of the things that you've been fooled by, or just had heard about. Don't know. All right, Murr. I think it's time to expand our craniums, as Miss Doubtfire would say. let's get silly. Let's get fun facty. That's Friday enough.
That's right. You sent me the Miss Doubtfire clip with the ominous music making.
Oh, it's Miss Doubtfire packaged as the horror movie.
Yeah, dude. It's amazing what just a little bit of audio editing can do to just like stuff that already exists. Because there's a whole thing of like Ross is insane from Friends, and they'll pull the laugh track out, and it's psychotic. And they'll pull the laugh track out and they'll delete whoever's in the scene with him, so it looks like he's just having a conversation by himself. Oh, it's wildly disturbing.
Yeah, some of those date back. Like there's ones from the mid 2000s. One that I saw from I think it's circa 06, and it was a play on Must Love Dogs, but it was Must Love Jaws, and it's like it's rebranded as I don't know, like a rom-com, but something to the extent of that. And it's like Jaws popping out to bite someone, and then all the three guys in the boat like, yeah, yeah, look at him.
That's funny.
Nice.
All right, well, let's get to it. It's officially time for your Fun Fact Friday, your Ripley's Believe It or Not. Time. Warp. 2222. Brought to you, of course, by our good friend, the Cuckster. The Cuckster is everywhere now. The Cuckster is on Instagram. The Cuckster is on TikTok. And you can find the Cuckster for life. That's Cuckster for life on both Instagram and the Tickety-Tock. Cuckster looking more dapper these days. It's funny what fame does to a guy, you know? One day you're just sitting on a pleather fucking chair in the corner. Next day you got a nice robust mustache, still sitting on the pleather chair in the corner.
You took a life insurance policy out on your mustache, and that thing just starts growing in.
So is the Cuckster up to anything fun these days?
Cuckster explained to the folks on TikTok his transformation from wood to meat, because it's to meat, and wants everyone to know that.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get to it. 5 fun facts for you fuckers on a Friday. Did you know when Peter Pan made his first appearance in print, the Wright brothers hadn't flown a plane yet? Peter Pan, 1901. Wright brothers attempted and failed in 1902.
So Peter Pan was flying before the Wright brothers.
Bingo.
Look at that. April Fools.
There's actually like an old picture from the 1800s of like the kid who apparently inspired Peter Pan. Apparently, people forget that there was a time where parents died all the time and they were just like orphans, and people think the British are all proper and stuff. But you find yourself a nice like 1800s like orphan kid living in London, and you have got yourself a psychotic fucking kleptomaniac that will fucking rip your kneecaps out with a fucking rusty saw blade the second he has a chance.
That's not wrong.
And he was the inspiration for Peter Pan?
Yeah, like the boy who never grew up, because there were all these kids that were just like, there was one notorious kid. Again, this is just all like a little snapshot and like a little one-liner thing. But yeah, there was like this notorious kid who was just like the leader of all these lost boys living in like just London in like the mid-1800s. And so some guy was, what if there were a bunch of lost boys and they never grew up, and they created the fantasy out of it, but that was like the spark of inspiration.
Gotcha. I don't know if it's a good, bad movie, but the 1991 Robin Williams Hook, that is rated wildly low on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh,
29%.
Hook,
29.
That's crazy.
I mean, I'm not saying it's award winning, but 29 seems.
It's 90. It's got a little bit of 90s cheese to it, like with the whole Rufio thing. And Rufio was like, Rufio was like driving a car before he went to fucking Neverland. That's a little weird. But beyond that, I mean, Dustin Hoffman plays a great version of Hook. I think
Julia Roberts does all right as Tinkerbell.
And just the thought of Peter Pan grew up and he's finding his way. I thought it's a good tale. I mean, you said 39%? 29. I mean, if you said 59, I'd be like, okay, all right. With a critical eye, I could get it there. But
yeah,
nah, man, that was a good flick. I'm glad you brought it up. Might have old William watch that one, see what he thinks.
Yeah. Say, hey, 1 to 100. What do you got?
Well, he loves everything, unfortunately.
100.
Like how that's unfortunate too.
Yeah, well, because I'm not bragging on him. He's such a sweet kid that he doesn't want to say anything negative about anything. So everything's great. I like it, buddy. It wasn't a good movie. It was. No, buddy, we're not watching that again.
It's all good, man. It's fine.
So what do you figure you got another like 2.5 to 3.5 years before he hates everything? Everything sucks.
Yeah.
Every movie sucks. You suck. Every opinion sucks. He has an opinion.
He has got an opinion. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, this is a good. Jyan Raxon had mentioned this about his daughter, who's now in college, but at the time, I think he was like 13. He said something. He's like, I'm not talking about opinion. Well, first of all, he let it in and he said, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, she had an opinion. She had a fucking opinion. He said, I'm not talking about, whether or not dinner was good, but I'm talking about how the household needed to be ran. What curfew was. what we should get on, what type of cable package we should be buying. Like, bitch, shut the fuck up.
That's the best thought that guy's ever had.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Did you know, in 1839, the first selfie was taken and the slang okay was invented by the Boston Morning Post.
We're both by the Boston Morning Post? Huh.
I'm reading a shitty sentence, and that's how it's worded.
Gotcha.
I think it's just coincidental. The first selfie by who knows? And gotcha. I wonder if that's archived somewhere, a frame somewhere important.
I've seen the picture, and it is one of those ones where the guy had like 10 pounds of gunpowder and just was like, all right, let's see what happens. Yeah.
It's not even a smile. It's him anticipating getting smacked in the face by 1,000 watts and a bunch of gunpowder. Gotcha.
This is what I'm doing to people? Oh my God. But what I love about the slang of okay is you guys, are you guys aware of what okay is short for?
I knew it one time, but I don't.
Okie dokie. The K's doing a lot of work here. But because I'm kind of paraphrasing a Norm Macdonald joke here, but because O is short for O, and K is short for Kidoki. So, yeah, but that is a dumb fucking word that we all know what it means. And okay is actually the enhanced, more professional version of that.
Yeah. Not to sidetrack, have you seen The Aviator?
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't know, and maybe they kind of glorified it, or I don't necessarily say glorified it, but maybe they just made it a little more extravagant. But there's that scene where he's walking on the red carpet and he gets all freaked out, and he's walking across all the broken bulbs and the glass on the red carpet. I wonder how accurate that was.
Ooh, it probably wasn't. They might have embellished a pinch, but I would imagine back then, flash bulbs.
Yeah.
Because remember when we were kids and they the cameras that had that little square on top, and you got 4 flashes before you had to change it out. Before that, it was actual glass bulbs, and they would. And I imagine if you're a pre,
a paparazzo.
Paparazzo, yeah, you would just pull that glass bulb out, throw it on the ground, and pop another one in.
Yeah, I wonder when the rite of passage of red carpets, or at least walking across the red carpet, became less and less glassy. All these celebrities what the hell? What is this? Just walking across felt. I always enjoyed the shards of glass.
Yeah, and I wonder if you got a bigger kind of more joy out of the more glass you were walking on, because if you were the last one to come through, that meant you were a big deal. The people who were just walking on carpet, nobody was fucking wasting bulbs on them.
And if you were an event organizer, you would always make sure the guy was Jewish. Just muzzle top his way all the way in. That's bad.
It was early Hollywood, so chances are. Thought I was going to add something there, too. Oh, okie dokie. Okay. So you're in an operating room, a very professional setting. You would expect people to not use like, abbreviations of words like scalpel. Okie dokie. I mean, I feel like I would ruin the moment.
Rectum stretcher.
Yeah.
Huh?
Did you know the first Boston Marathon took place the same year Dracula was published? 1897.
Damn. That's 1 year after the first modern Olympics, which had the marathon. So
Okay.
I start thinking about cities or at least event organizers trying to. I assume prior to 1896 the marathon was a famous thing, but I'm just trying to think of someone like, oh shit, they had it over in Athens, Greece. And here's another fun fact. It was originally it was supposed to be 26 miles, and then at that Olympics they made it 26.2. Do you know why?
No.
The finish line was here, and they put the King and Queen's box 0.2 miles down the road. So the event organizers are like, no, just rather than move the King and Queen's box, let's just push the line down a little bit. Push the finish line down another 0.2 miles.
So it's not. So the 0.2 isn't based on the old, what was it, the Greek or the Roman?
The traditional is 26 miles. The 0.2 is because the King and Queen, well, not the King and Queen, but the event organizers at the 1896 first inaugural modern Olympics were like, it's going to be more work to move the box down. Let's just paint over this line and push it down 0.2 miles.
Huh. Well. And it stuck. That's the fucking crazy part.
That's
I
right.
know, but the thing that does baffle me about this, it seems like obviously like of the two things, Dracula and the Boston Marathon, obviously Marathon has been around for eons, but Dracula feels like it's been around longer than an organized running event. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's still pretty old though. 1890s.
Yeah.
Works of horror fiction like that popular prior to that? Like ghouls and goblins and monsters?
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
Before that, I don't think they had to embellish, because considering that like Dracula's based on Vlad the Impaler,
Sure.
The true story is almost more terrifying than the fake one.
Black Plague, witches, quote unquote. Yeah, witch trials rather.
Yeah, I mean, Poe was published in like the 1830s, so that was 60 years before this, 50, 60 years before Dracula. So yeah, there's been dark shit around. You guys, either of you guys read Dracula?
Not the original not the 1890s version, that's for sure.
Well, it's no matter what, it's still a chewy read. But like it's fun at first, and then it's lots of journal entries, and you're just like, oh god, this is hard to read. But it's it's a cool fucking book.
They tried to incorporate that in the Bram Stoker's one in 92 with Keanu Reeves, because it's like throughout the film there's acting going on, but the audio is narration from Reeves writing in his journal.
Well, Bram Stoker's the author too. Yeah.
Like well, what's that new one that just came as a Nosferatu or whatever?
Oh yeah,
I've heard people say that that's like the best version, like to date, of like vampire anything.
When this come out?
I believe it.
Like maybe last year, but within the calendar year. It just Nosferatu. Okay. Yeah. Apparently it's very, very close to the source material, but very well done by modern filmmaking standards as well.
Yeah. And I've mentioned to you guys before the woman who won the quote unquote won the Boston Marathon, got caught cheating.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that had never entered a race before this. Was found on it had been spotted on subways and buses.
It's just I mean, wait, how did she get caught? I can't remember that part.
So she was declared the winner and was celebrated as the winner for I think like 24, maybe 48 hours. And this is in the 70s, maybe the late 60s. I'm gonna guess like 73, 74. I think word of mouth started kind of catching up. Like, wait a minute, she hasn't raced in shit. No one knows who the hell she is. We just thought she was going to be part of the pack. And then, the claims of like, yeah, I saw her on a fucking subway. Yeah, I saw her on a bus. Yeah, I saw her push the Jersey barrier over and fucking start running down. Yeah.
And what's great
and
about
she finished
that,
like wildly above, like 4 minutes above the person who finished second, who had won a few marathons leading up to it.
and the beautiful thing about that is like that era of time. Like if you got Monday's newspaper, you'd be fucking super impressed for the rest of your life if you didn't get Thursday's newspaper.
That's right. Yeah. And if only they had the betting that they had, that we have today.
Oh, yeah.
And someone had tapped it like, yeah, I'm going to cheat. DraftKings will just take all your money back.
I want to move on, but then I'm like, remember the guy who won that prop bet, like a streaker on the field who bet on himself? I wonder if they're going to take away that prop.
Yeah, we did talk about that.
Yeah, it's the last Super Bowl. Like the guy
talked...
who ran on the field.
Yeah. Sorry.
So I wonder if they're going to have to do away with that prop bet, because if that's the case, like, I mean, the juice is worth the squeeze if you put enough money on it. If you tell your friends, and even if like DraftKings like cancels your account, like if you and your buddies make a pact and you just split that shit up, fucking dump your bank account on there, like, all right, Jimmy, you're spending 7 days in jail, but when you get out, we're gonna spend a month in Vegas.
That's right.
All right, moving on. Did you know SNL debuted the same year as Jaws? 1975.
75. That's right. Yeah. Because must love Jaws, and they thought SNL was gonna flop. All the writers,
sure,
all the producers, a lot of the actors were kind of like, a lot of them, they kind of, I won't say too dumb for their own good, but I think they were just seizing the moment type thing.
Sure,
young in
they
their
were
careers.
young. They were early 20s. This is my break. Why would you think otherwise? But
Yeah.
did you watch the movie Saturday night with the latest one that came out? I think it's on Netflix maybe right now.
I know of it. I haven't watched it.
Dude, 100% like underrated released movie, like big time. Anxiety inducing for all the best reasons. All the characters, they're all. Have you seen it, Alan?
No, I haven't. No.
Everyone who portrayed a living, like an actor, like nailed their spots. Chevy Chase, like Anna Aykroyd. Belushi, meh, but I guess that's all up into interpretation of like who he actually was. But yeah, definitely give that one a go. And by the way, extra fun fact, I mention it every time I talk about Jaws. Jaws rated PG. Just a heads up. 1975 movie standards were a lot different than today. And finally, did you know car windshield wipers were invented just 5 years after electric headlights were introduced in 1903? That's actually impressive for windshield wipers.
Yeah.
It's probably just a pulley arm with a big cloth. Wiping things up and down, yeah.
Funny enough, the work vehicle I was driving today in the rain on Route 40 apparently was built in 1902 because it had no windshield wipers.
Gotcha. Is this the same one that honks when you
No, different
left?
one. They all have their own little quirks, like, ooh, do I have brakes? Do I have a horn? Do I have windshield wipers in the rain? Who knows? Wait and find out.
That's just efficiency, man. That government contract didn't cover windshield wipers.
Well, that's why, like, when they were talking about Elon's coming in to check out the postal service with Doge, I was like, please come in. We are too efficient.
That's right.
We need to spend some money on some things, boss. Come check it out.
I heard there's a van somewhere in Maryland, just outside of Delaware. Every time it turns left, it honks. Yeah, it's very disturbing.
That's actually very efficient. So it means you don't have to apply two separate actuators. Just turn left and you honk.
Very
good.
Y'all are gonna be getting stuck in the snow in Cybertrucks fucking in a year. Fucking
Listen, Alan, I'm driving a vehicle that was built before you were born. So I will take the worst Cybertruck over the best current vehicle on our fleet.
That's fair. I give you that one.
All right. Yeah. And that, my friends, is your Fun Fact Friday.
Folks, tonight on Before You Go, we pay tribute only the way the middle class holes can to a fallen celebrity. None of us guessed him as a celebrity death in 2025, although I felt like if we had done a little bit better research, it could have been some low-hanging fruit. Great actor out of the 80s and 90s and then into the 2000s, kind of give or take, depending upon what you would grade or rate a good movie. Nonetheless, one of the more versatile actors of our generation, Val Kilmer. Alan, I'll start with any of your thoughts on the passing of the late, great Val Kilmer.
A great loss for the Hollywood community. No, what was the last movie he was in? It's been a while, and I haven't even looked at. I'm assuming he was sick.
Maverick,
and shit, right?
He was in Top Gun Maverick.
Was he Maverick? Okay.
Yeah, but he had very,
Oh yeah, that's right. He was like kind of dying in that already. I forgot about that.
He couldn't even talk. That when he does talk, that is I don't know if it's AI generated or a voice actor doing his, the Navy needs you.
What was wrong with him? Did you guys?
He had throat cancer.
Was that what it was?
And then when they cut it out, they had to basically just destroy his vocal cords.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of real estate in there to play with. Yeah, that sucks. Like great roles. I've just like very, like you said, very versatile. Now that I kind of think back on it, fucking like just all sorts of different roles. But he's always the fucking Iceman with the fucking, yeah, fucking. That'll forever fucking live on. I think. Oh, and just. Oh, fucking not great Batman.
That's right. That's right.
That's not Batman.
Yeah. Should I play this?
Yeah, play this.
Yeah, please do.
Because people forget that, like, I had a different opinion of Val Kilmer. You kind of forget that there's a wild... Dude, he was like a California, like, surfer dude, really.
Yeah.
An amazing sense of humor underneath this, like, professional... actor. Now, I cannot remember the name of the show. Just go ahead and hit play, and when it gets to the part, we'll get to the part. Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant, Warwick Davis, who was in Willow with Val Kilmer, and
Willow.
Just watch this clip. This is the. They're trying to guess who's under the Batman hood. Just kill it. No one ever gets it.
Such a good bit. No one ever gets it.
Nobody gets it.
So, I mean, self-deprecating, comedic timing. The guy was, I mean, the best character, obviously. I think we got to go with fucking playing Doc Holliday and fucking Tombstone, man. I'm your Huckleberry. Right there on the wall. Look at that shit.
Yeah.
I mean, making yourself look like you're dying of tuberculosis for fucking 2 hours is.
I think when Johnny Ringo asked him, "How about you, Doc? Are you retired?" He's like, "Not me. I'm in my prime." He's like, "Yeah, you look it." It's all sweating, all drunk.
Dude, when he does the whole fucking like. When Johnny Ringo does the gunplay thing at the poker table or whatever, and then Doc's like, and you think it's gonna be some kind of the shootout's gonna happen right there, and then he grabs this little whiskey cup and just mocks the shit out of him. Fucking amazing. Jim Morrison, fucking amazing. He told Oliver Stone this was the deal for him playing Jim Morrison. He was going to sing all of the Doors songs, and then he was going to play them back to Oliver Stone, Doors song, him, mix them up, and if Oliver Stone could tell the difference between him and Jim Morrison, he said he would let him use a vocal track. But if he couldn't tell, he was singing the songs live. Lo and behold, he sang those songs live.
And it wasn't just him. Oliver Stone took it to a Doors band member, and he said he couldn't tell the difference.
Yeah.
Because he thought he was fucking with him. He's like, wait, I don't know. It sounds like him to me.
Yeah.
So
that's fucking amazing actor. And look, this is one of those times where I'm not even gonna mock him. I got nothing to mock. Got really nothing to mock about what Val Kilmer gave us. And by the way, I forgot about Willow, and then I watched Willow a couple of years ago. It's Val Kilmer, one of these chameleon actors. You forget that he was in the movie, but because when you're watching it, you don't even realize like you're watching Val Kilmer. You're just watching the character he's playing. The character was, it's just good. That's why a shitty movie still lasts in our memories to this fucking day.
That's right. I think Top Secret, very underrated slapstick comedy from the 80s, is, along with Real Genius.
Real Genius, one of my favorite movies.
Real Genius, phenomenal.
Him as Jim Morrison in The Doors, we talked about it. Probably his best act is Doc Holliday in Tombstone. So here's the deal. Batman Forever. Probably the worst Batman movie of the bunch.
No, that's the George Clooney one. George Clooney was the worst.
Okay, all right. So then he plays a supporting role in Heat with De Niro and Pacino and does a really good job. I think that the idea of that is let's get De Niro and Pacino together in a gangster movie. Then he's in a movie called The Island of Dr. Monroe, which is a remake from a movie in the 60s or something like that, starring Marlon Brando. I went to the movie theater with my father because he was like, yeah, Brando. And we walked out of that. My dad said, that might be the worst movie I think I've ever seen in my entire fucking life.
Yep.
But I remember it well. I try to think of a few others after that. I liked him in Deja Vu with Denzel. A few others here and there. Wildly versatile. The joke that me and my family and my brother Dewey Love used to say, he played Jim Morrison, he played Doc Holliday, and he played Batman. God, look at that.
Yeah, right? Oh, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Don't forget, don't sleep on that one.
He was also in The Love Guru with
The Love Guru.
Was he really?
With Mike Myers and Timberlake.
It was a pretty shitty fucking thriller he made called Mindhunters in 2004. Unless I'm looking through here, I saw that in theaters. This is with Christian Slater. They're like FBI They're like FBI agents being trained, and their last test is to catch a serial killer on this
Is that DMX on the
fake,
front?
No, it's LL Cool J.
Shit. All right.
So yeah, Christian Slater, Val Kilmer, LL Cool J. Just fucking put it on your list now, boys. It's good stuff.
But just to throw back to the big role for him and Tom Cruise obviously in Top Gun, Top Gun does not exist without Iceman as the foil in that fucking movie. And I would assume, and I'd probably be right about this, that most aviators are more Iceman and less Maverick.
Yeah.
And by the way, you know who won Top Gun that year? You know who was top of the class? Fucking Iceman, not Maverick.
I'll point out another one. This is actually an animated film, but a favorite animated film of mine is The Prince of Egypt. I'm pretty sure it's a Disney film. He is Moses. He's the voice of Moses in that film. That's a pretty good animated film if you've never seen it.
See, he did Planes, another Disney Pixar one.
Yeah.
Guess get the voice acting in while you can. Too soon.
There it is.
All right.
Jesus. No, we had to get it in. That was perfect. Thank you.
R.I.P. Val Kilmer. Some social media comments before we sign off for tonight. This one comes via YouTube short. Pizza at a seafood restaurant. This is Paul. This one. I don't know if you guys remember the clip. It was me bitching about on a not a family trip, but someone else's family trip where they wanted to bring Domino's into a seafood restaurant. Paul, this one writes, yes, if you're so self-centered and you don't give two flying flips about how it affects others or how it affects other people, then yes, you will get a lot more done in your selfish gains in the short run, but in the long run, restaurants kick you out. Your options start getting limited. So remember, kids, short-term selfishness hurts your long-term flexibility and acceptance in a community to be kind. Sorry, there was no periods or anything like that.
Okay, now I'm siding with Pizza Lady.
Right? He made it weird.
I would say this. If you go into another establishment with another establishment's food and you tell your waiter or waitress, hey, we're just gonna order drinks, but we're gonna tip you like we're eating. I almost feel like there's not a problem there. Like you're just renting the real estate.
You can't. It's illegal. You can't do it.
It's illegal. I don't think it's illegal. I think it's up to the establishment. I don't think there's any legality.
Nah, I'm pretty sure because they have like food licenses and beverage licenses that they operate under. Like,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll be okay to be wrong. I do, but listen, I have a problem with it, Wes. I'm still on your side here. I remember when in Haverty Grace, wasn't there like a Taco Bell right next to the McDonald's for a stint?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I remember in high school, like there were people that didn't want McDonald's, but everybody was hanging out at the McDonald's. So some people walked over to Taco Bell, got that, and then brought it back. I was like, you can't do that. They're like, shut up. Yeah, you can. Like, nah, man, they're gonna get. And that's but they got away with it. And I had to eat McDonald's.
I also feel like that's a little different. That's the fucking McDonald's and a Taco Bell. Now
but
I know we're not really up in the ante at like bringing Domino's into a fucking Olive Garden. You know what I mean? Like I'm not. Yeah. We didn't really blow the brakes off of the quality of fucking food, but I think it's slightly different. It's different enough to be because like. It's not that I think that food's prepared a little like it's more fresh, but it's not fresh. Whereas like McDonald's just McDonald's and Taco Bell's fucking. I think that meat literally says like grade D. It's just barely human meat. Like it's barely human edible.
So you're saying
cut up by a guy named Grady.
Yeah.
So you're saying I don't know what the social qualm is based on the quality of establishments. So if I said
the level of like of formality of the establishment, I guess.
So you're saying like if I brought Chipotle into a Five Guys, since they're comparable foods, that it wouldn't be as big a problem.
Wouldn't really care. Like if there was a Five Guys next to a Chipotle, and there was like a group of 3 of you from the office or some shit, and like one of you wanted Chipotle, and like 2 of you wanted Five Guys. I think Five Guys would be like, I don't give a fuck. Buy a drink, please. You know what I mean, or something like that.
So where's the line drawn? Like if
the line in my case is she attempted to bring Domino's into a 300-person dining room that served fucking seafood at the Outer Banks.
Okay, but I guess my point with Alan here is that there's certain people that are allergic to seafood, and most people go to seafood restaurants in giant numbers, right? So if there was like 15 of you and 5 of you didn't want seafood, and you guys said, all right, we're going to bring a pizza for these 5 fuckers, everybody else is eating off the menu, I almost don't feel like that's a problem.
No, well, okay. No, first of all, they didn't say we have seafood allergies. They said they didn't want to order from there because they didn't have crabs. And second of all, you can't go in there and cry foul if they don't serve if they don't have alternate non-seafood, if they don't cook pizza or whatever. Too bad. Eat the fucking mozzarella sticks, eat the jalapeno peppers, or march your ass up and go across the street and order the fucking pizza.
We're from where we're from. Like, we've been into enough seafood restaurants to know there's at least a burger on that menu, or like a chicken Caesar wrap or some bullshit, you know what I mean, that isn't fucking seafood. They could have eaten it if they wanted to. Like, yeah, I think this situation's a little different, but I think my marker is like if you sit down and you get waited on. I guess that's probably the clearest like marker.
Sure,
like,
I get that.
Like
that's what I'm saying.
If you sit down and get waited on, you can't bring Domino's with you.
Right. But I feel like if you told the waiter or waitress, we're gonna tip you like we ordered off the menu. I'm just saying the establishment itself might have an issue, but I have a feeling you'll get away with it.
Yeah, that's different. I think that's a different.
If you're bribing the servers to bypass certain things,
basically.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I think they'll go with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I do get what Paul's also saying. First of all, Paul, he didn't use a sentence in it or a comma. It was kind of confusing, but I get what his like point is. Like, society has a way of kind of navigating around. Although Paul, in this particular situation, these people weren't ever going back to the Outer Banks or weren't going to be back there for another 10 years. So if their picture was posted up on the lobby wall, don't let these people enter again. It probably got ripped down within 6 months' time once the season changed, and you'll be fine.
I don't know. You ever been to the Outer Banks? There's like 4 fucking things, and They've been there since the fucking 30s. So if you go back, you're kind of fucked.
There is a massive karaoke bar. Check it out. Insane Indian population via TikTok. Not_Rowan writes, why are they so blatantly racist? It's not even funny.
Well, to which I replied, it sounds like you guys didn't get past the halfway mark. And
what did we say?
We were talking about how that India had surpassed China in population, and I mockingly said 2 billion call service.
The fact was India now has more people than the world's population was in 1800.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, but then we talked about India superseding China, and then I talked about there being no athletes in the bunch.
I mean, if it's any consolation, person, whatever Murr said about call center people, like there's a bunch of engineers over there that are mediocre at their jobs too, that we outsource to.
My retort to Wes's point about athletics was like, well, they're killing it in emergency room doctors and surgeons.
Yeah.
And which is obviously the antithesis of a racist comment saying that their intellect supersedes everything negative we said. Yeah. Anyway, they didn't give the clip more than, like most TikTok clips.
10 seconds.
Yeah, 10 seconds.
Yeah, you go in there and your heart's exploding through your chest, and you try to explain to him that you have a life insurance policy, and my wife will be taken care of. He tells you to shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up.
Belly button super glue via TikTok. Balloon Animal writes, does he not know what nail polish remover is?
Bingo.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, you're right. I don't need to go and have some outpatient mild anesthesia where they glop up some yellow and orange shit across my belly button and spend what was it, $2,500? Nail polish remover. This fucking guy. This in-law has grinded my gears more than he ought. I thought about him more than I should.
Yeah. You know what I equate it to? It's like, I don't know, like let's say you got a jacket with like a zipper on there, right? And you walk too close to your buddy's car and it gets like a wisp of a scratch in the paint. And it's like, oh, dude, you ruined my car. Like, listen, I'm not trying to downplay this. I get that you're upset. A little bit of wax, like seriously, it's not a thing. Like the scratches happen. I'm sorry. I'm the asshole. You're right. But gotta resurface the whole door. We have to sand it, paint it. You have to get down to the body shop. Dude, you're gonna owe me like $500 for that. Like, I get that I'm wrong, but there's simple solutions. And this guy decided to be the dickhole route.
I always wonder what did you think you were marrying into? Did you not vet this?
Right.
My family, and I'm not saying that Sarah's going to get her belly button glued if she passes out in a hammock drunk, but
might catch some flour to the face.
Yes, that's right. Or anything cornstarch, crumbled up goldfish, whatever we get our hands on. So,
dude,
anyway.
I mean, we're not even family, and we had that discussion after soccer about what her nickname could have been when we were workshopping it back when you guys started dating. And it was either Hornay or fucking Horn. And fucking, I was like, Wes lobbied for you. We were really pushing for it.
No, Alan and I in a one-to-one conversation discussed her nickname. Alan had mentioned Hornay. I said she's been called that her entire life, and she hates it. And Alan and I drunkenly came up with Horn-E. And then Alan rolled out the red carpet with that name for her, and she said, no, I'm not doing that. And Alan said, no, we're delving out the nicknames. You don't have a choice.
This is more just running it by you. We're not asking permission here.
This is not a democracy on this.
It's not how nicknames work. They're given to you.
Yeah. Lastly, we got an email. From one of our faithfuls, Keith Kern.
Yeah.
Keith Kern wrote in. Finally, Keith writes, congratulations on joining the long list of the sterile. Did your doctor make you shave your nuts before surgery? Did your wife give you the hall pass on OnlyFans for the next 2 weeks? It was fun seeing Mr. Fox a few weeks ago. Hopefully, I'll have the honor of meeting the third leg of the tripod sometime. I'm looking forward to your next show to see what other shenanigans you all get into, whether it's monkeys working in bars or squirrel-sized cougars versus cougar-sized squirrels. Anyone having a colonoscopy coming up? Maybe we can live stream it to TikTok for fan views. Keep up the good work, Keith.
Okay, well, let me answer. Thank you, Keith. Appreciate your input as always. Actually, they didn't give me any preparation details on what I should do with my sack as far as hair is concerned. I figured they were going to do their own grooming for whatever needs necessary for their operations. So I gave it the old 1.5 millimeter with the guard on with my hair clippers. They didn't touch shit. The only thing she did was yank my dick around like she was playing Mortal Kombat and throw an iodine on me. No shaving there. I did show Maria the paperwork of how many ejaculations I needed in a certain time frame, and she didn't really scoff at the fact that I would probably be, utilizing certain internet materials. So I just,
She was like, I'm not doing it. So Godspeed, sir.
This is how I introduced it, because she didn't scoff at this. I was just like, yeah. She said something like, well, I mean, is everything okay down there? I was like, I'll tell you what, babe, I'm going to give it a test run tonight. And she didn't say anything like, oh, you're not going to run it on me first? No. I was just like, and she's like, how many do you have to do? I was like, 10 to 15 over the next 2 months. And I laughed like rookie numbers. And nobody blinked. 13? Nobody blinked. So, yeah. And by the way, I will say, now it's not worth having the procedure done to experience this fleeting pleasure. But I always heard the first one after is really good. And that rumor holds true. I now know why David Carradine was, maybe choking some off a little bit there at the end. But, dude, that 1.5 multiple there, that 0.5, something new, something different. Really feel it in the taintal region. A little bit of a pulsating action that I wasn't worried about a stitch pop in there for a second. But, yeah, it was definitely new and amazing.
Wow. Well, that Alan, tell all the would-be David Carradine hang themselves ejaculators. We got to wrap this up, B. Where you can find the middle class holes.
Oh, you can find us on all your favorite social media platforms. We're at MDL Class Holes on Instagram and Twitter. Still Twitter. Never going to call it what it's actually called. And, of course, for the rest of you idiots, we're the Middle Class Holes on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, all that good shit. Anything else? What else we got? Keith, you got our email address. Nobody else needs it but Keith.
That's right.
Really? Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. Tonight, before you go, folks, we take you back to a time before time, a time in the COVID era, 2020, 5 years ago, where businesses, small businesses were struggling to find a way to tap into how the hell they can sell their products. Well, a strip club in Portland figured out that they would just send strippers door to door with food. It wasn't via DoorDash. I don't know how the hell they tapped into it, but remember this clip. We remember it well. We'll see you next week. Take her easy.
Next one, out of Portland, Oregon. That fucking weird ass town out west. So, with all this coronavirus stuff going on, businesses shutting down, more silver linings, if you're looking at them this way. A strip club owner obviously had to shut down, but what he is allowed to do is offer the essential service of food delivery. Now, I guess they have some bang up food at this strip club. So he started what he likes to call Boober Eats, where he sends scantily clad strippers to your door from 7 p.m. to 1 a.m., which is pretty solid.
Rock solid.
Pretty solid. With bags of food from the strip club. Gang, would you spend roughly $30? Looks like $30 minimum to get some food from some scantily clad ladies in the virus pandemic?
Depends on which virus you want to catch.
No, there's lots of viruses going around in this one.
Certainly some pink eye to be fad. So this is essentially not too far down the street from us, Hooters they have a kitchen. They make food.
Yep.
that would be the same as like us getting Uber Eats from any of the neighboring restaurants here. We could do it through there. That's what this business owner is doing, right?
Correct.
But these ladies are delivering it.
Yep, these ladies are delivering it. That is correct.
Now, I do have a question. Now, is he an eatery or is he a strip club who is now designating himself as an eatery?
So he is a strip club that did offer a full menu already. So
a full spread, huh?
Yeah. You know, so it's think of your higher end places, really, or your pseudo higher end places, your Scores.
Yeah.
You know, things like that where you can grab a quick steak, turn over, make it dong out here.
And then, you know, it's like a place like Scores. If you order medium rare, you get medium rare.
Yeah,
that's you don't get medium or medium well. You get.
I don't like
a fucking cook back there. There's a chef back there.
I don't like anything bloody at the strip club.
You afraid of pink eye?
But yeah, man. Boober Eats, the Lucky Devil Lounge out of Portland. Serving them up.
$30 minimum.
$30 minimum. They does come with a security guard. Okay. So obviously, you know, you will still get thrown out of somewhere. Like he will come into your house and throw you out of it and then leave your house if you touch the stripper.
It's like a Terry Tate Terry Tate-esque office linebacker type thing.
Yeah. But it says that, you know, they've been doing pretty good. People have been tipping them well, trying to take care of the strippers. I think that's kind of a sentiment that's been going around most everywhere. I know we've ordered out a couple times. I don't know about you guys. So, yeah.
I think
pretty cool story.
Like if you're not, I mean, if this thing does anything for anybody, you save money. You're not going out. You're not going to restaurants. You're not going to bars, which is there's a majority of my spending. Now that I'm not doing it, no, I'm not going to write a letter to a local strip club and say, hey, I think you ought to send some of your broads out this way. But that being said, the city of Portland, hey man, tough times calls for tough measures. Desperate times calls for desperate measures. And if it's profitable to them and the city of Portland is embracing it, hey, hats off to him.
Yeah,
That's
man.
Beautiful.
He's I think they're doing it right. You know, Portland's weird, so this fits the bill. You know, they have masks, disposable gloves, sanitizing agents, wipes.
That should be
to go, bro.
That should be standard practice in the actual club itself. In all seriousness, like everybody's worried about how they're going to keep their employees a steady stream of income through this whole thing, and strippers, no offense to them, they obviously didn't get their doctoral degree, probably a few credits shy of their masters, if you will. So, you know, this is a great way to keep this. I'm not trying to be disparaging of them. It's a good way to keep the strippers working. You know as well as I do that old tugboat who's coming out with the stripper is probably going to go, you know, sit in your living room and watch ESPN The Ocho while you get whatever, you know, extras come with the tips, maybe a few extra condiments on the side, if you will. And $30 minimum if you're just some sort of like idiot creep who wants to spend $30 for a bag of chicken fingers. I mean, good on you, whatever. But you know they're spending more money. The strippers are coming over. They're probably doing a few lap dances before they leave. So the business continues. The girls get paid. The strip club gets to keep its lights on for a little while longer. So all around, I mean, the kind of guy who's calling a strip club to get some food is the kind of guy who's going to go drop $1,000 at the strip club on a Friday night in the first place. So everybody wins.
He's just longing for it. Now, do you think when you said old tugboat, do you think it's tugboat from the WWF?
Yes.
Half of the natural disasters, typhoon, that guy.
Unfortunately, Earthquake has since passed.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tugboat, after he lost his life partner, you know, he had to find a little something extra to do on the side to earn a little extra cash, and just, you know, being a bodyguard in his mid-50s for a strip club taking chicken fingers on the run. That just seemed like a good gig for him, you know? I'm proud of him for not hanging the boots completely up and just saying my life is over, and he's found his second wind. And I think that's the kind of thing you gotta be proud of a man like that.
When you're a tugboat or a typhoon, a second wind could go a long way. Now he was the Shockmaster in WCW. I don't know, one of the greatest wrestling bumbles of all time. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that.
Oh, I feel like I can see it, but you can give me.
He's got the Stormtrooper mask on that's spray painted and sparkles, and he's introduced as the Shockmaster, someone who has like electromagnetic capabilities, and then falls over because they put a footer on this like thing he was supposed to break through, and he didn't see it because of the mask, and the mask is falling off.
Yeah, I can envision the tumble. I just couldn't remember the details.
You guys have never seen this. We're going to watch it.
Solid boys. All right, guys.
Hats off to the city of Portland and the entertainment biz.
The Lucky Devil Lounge.
Right, and I agree with Murr what he said. The gentlemen who are spending the money on $30 for what? Chicken wings, breadsticks, and jalapeno poppers. Obviously, the value
chicken
is
fingers, steak bites.
Right.
They have some mini corn dogs.
Do you have the menu in front of you?
Yeah, good stuff. What's that?
You have the menu in front of you?
No, these are in the item, but I can find that menu.
He's got the menu memorized.
Yep, Lucky Devil Lounge. Let's find it up.
Hey, well, what are steak bites though? Like that, just like this mystery meat from Tuesday.
I think what they do is they take a steak and then they cut it up into bites and serve it to you.
What kind of clientele do you have that you have to serve them pre-cut steak?
Look, Lucky Devil Eats. Order now. Oh, woo! Bro. So much good stuff.
Maybe they could take Vietnamese Air over here and.
There's donations for the dancers. There's pizzas. There's fucking, chicken wings. There's hummus for the healthy folk.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking hummus from a strip club, not
hummus from a strip club. You can get a BLT, grilled chicken sando, and there's your steaks. There's steak bites. Those are $11, or a blue cheese New York steak for $14.
Blue cheese New York.
I think they just crumble some blue cheese on top of a steak.
On a strip.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's about it. Get some pasta. Whatever you need. And some titties.
Maybe a couple lactating nipples.
Where they get the blue cheese from.
Couple of nips. Oh, gross.
What's the blue cheese?
And on that note, gentlemen, we move on.
No! Blue cheese nipple steaks.